Hi, so today we're going to be talking about Buzzables, our product, and our company called Buzzable Inc. Our project team consists of myself, Celia, Kevin, Kyle, T, Emily, and James. So let's take it away. So we've developed a product called Buzzables, and this is an adult style Lunchable, or a Lunchable for a mature audience. So we're taking the concept of a Lunchable and doing something fun and exciting. We're going to be adding alcoholic beverages to our Lunchable. We'll have one product which features beer, locally brewed Anchor Steam with wine and cheese, gourmet of course, and we're going to have another product featuring wine with wine and cheese, with cheese and crackers as well. That's cheese and crackers in both products. We're also going to be including an updated packaging that's going to be something more adult friendly, blue and black rather than the yellow. And this is going to be found in the refrigerated section of stores. If we're taking a look at the market, we see a growing market for Buzzables. We can see that the specialty food market has been growing over the past years. It's actually at about $88 billion right now, so it's a very large market. And cheese alternative products are actually growing very quickly, and the market for that is about $4 billion in sales. Furthermore, we're taking a look at the Bay Area specifically for our product. So we're going to be launching this in the Bay Area, in and around San Francisco. We see that the Bay Area has about 7 million people. A lot of people live in this area. We also have a lot of people in our target market, younger crowd. We do see that about 65% of people are between the ages of 18 and 65. And as we know that there's a really big food scene in the Bay Area, and food is really trending right now, so we think that there's a great demographic for our product here in the Bay Area. In terms of time to market, we're thinking that we need about 3 months and that our sales are actually going to start in Q2. And we think we needed that time to really give ourselves the space to do various action items. That includes signing a contract manufacturer, a contract packager to package and label our product. We also need to sign our supplier contracts. We need to find suppliers for our cheese and our crackers, our wine and beer, and we need to negotiate rates with them and sign contracts. We also need to work with our shippers and our freight. We need to get that in place and sign contracts with those companies. And of course we need to sign customers, so we need to build those relationships and sign sales orders. We also need to get our office in place. We're going to be located in Fremont here in California, and we need to set that up, including getting a van and a refrigerator and some of those aspects. And we're also going to be hiring an intern, which we intend to do pretty much as soon as we're up and running on day one, but we wanted to put that into the lead time of about 3 months. So now I'll turn it over to Kyle.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to walk through our budgeting assumptions and some of our schedules for our first year of operations. Starting with revenue and growth assumptions, our target market is going to be selling to convenience and grocery stores, specifically looking at 7-Eleven, Safeway, and Whole Foods in the first year, and hopefully expanding to other chains as our popularity grows. We feel that the number of sales locations starts at a reasonable level in Q2, and then we'll grow as we develop brand recognition, and we will try and utilize the store's own networks. For example, once we get 7-Eleven on contract, talking to other 7-Elevens, kind of as we already have a foot in the door to develop new customers. The sales budget, our average selling price is going to be $8. We feel that this is an appropriate price that leaves enough markup for the final price to the end customer. We're assuming about a 25% markup by 7-Eleven, Safeway, Whole Foods for an ending price that you will see when you walk in the door at about $10. We do feel that our sales will be driven by the store locations. We're assuming about 5 units sold per day, which we do feel is conservative, but also realistic. We would have some upside if we're able to improve that. But the biggest driver of our quarterly increase in sales units is going to be our expansion into new store locations. And as you can see, we ran starting in Q2 at about $72,000 total revenue, and by the end of the year we reach almost $500,000 in the first year. The production budget, here we assume that we'd like to have a 10% carry-in for next quarter sales. And we're also assuming a 5% yield loss for spoilage and also just normal course of business fallout on the production line. So we have our quarterly schedule showing how we need to build above and beyond our sales to be able to have enough product available. Going into our product costs, our COGS breakdown and assumptions is pretty similar across the two products. Our manufacturing overhead and direct labor is the same, and for the most part, our direct material is the same. The only difference is in the wine and beer. Wine is actually at 63 cents per unit, and beer is at 83 cents per unit. So that's the, we'll have a slightly higher margin on wine, which will be favorable for us, which we'll see later. Speaking to that point, our forecasted product mix is 70% wine compared to 30% beer. We anticipate it will be skewed this way because of the more natural pairing of wine with the cheese and crackers. However, we wanted to be able to introduce a beer option to widen the target audience. In terms of forecasted lead times, we have to account for our raw materials getting to our contract manufacturer and the packaging. And then from there, we have to return our finished goods either to our storage or directly to our end customers, depending on the type of order. And in total, we're looking at about 11 days of total lead time. Our direct labor budget, for the most part, since we're using a contract manufacturer, our direct labor is fairly low. We anticipate that the contract manufacturer will be able to break out direct labor versus direct material costs for us in our regular billing. That way we can track this cost and hopefully keep it as drive it towards favorability. We anticipate 50 cents per unit for labor at the contract manufacturer, and we've applied that across our required production units in each quarter. Our manufacturing overhead budget, the variable components consist of freight, both raw materials to the contract manufacturer and finished goods returning, and also CRB for wine and beer. Our fixed manufacturing overhead is our liquor license, which we expect to be about $510 for both wine and beer. Our period costs. Our SG&A budget represents our largest costs per quarter, and they are all also fixed costs at this point, which is will be an area of attention as we ramp and get into production. Our various sections of the SG&A budget are advertising. We anticipate advertising to be about 5% of sales. However, we did allocate about $2,200 in Q1 just to help drive awareness as we ramp towards those first sales starting in Q2. As you can see here, our salaries are $200,000 a year. We'll go into details of that on the next slide. And from there, we have benefits where we're assuming, in addition to salaries, there's a 25% cost for various benefits expenses. We also have utilities, gas, and rent, and depreciation. These are fixed throughout each quarter, and we have a detailed breakdown coming in the next slides. We also have our depreciation broken out so that we can allocate our cash accordingly, and we'll go into the cash schedule later. The personnel assumptions. We anticipate having a CEO, CFO, who will be full-time, making $60,000 a year, and we're also setting aside a 20% equity stake for the CEO, CFO. Their main responsibility will be maintaining minimum cash balances and securing the loans as needed, and also cultivating investor relations and attacking our period costs, which at this point are our biggest expense. We are going to have 2 full-time marketing and sales positions at $40,000 each, and each person will also receive a 10% equity stake. Their main goal is to be growing store locations, which will drive our revenue. We anticipate getting to 30 7-Elevens, 20 Safeways, and 10 Whole Foods by the end of the first year. And also coordinate our marketing efforts across the various marketing channels. We will also have a supply chain full-time employee that will be making $40,000 a year with a 10% equity stake. This person will aggressively attack product costs and will be tasked with maintaining relationships with our suppliers and also the contract manufacturer to make sure that we have all our raw materials and that we have ample finished goods to meet demand. We will also have one part-time intern, about $10,000 a year, to perform various tasks. Our breakdown of our marketing budget, we anticipate about $25,000 set aside in the first year. Our target market, as stated before, is 21 to 45, living and working probably in the Bay Area, urban areas, most likely San Francisco, techie, foodie, hipster, individual that would be attracted to a product such as this. Our basic marketing plan is to hit various mediums to get awareness out there. We'll be going to certain events throughout the quarters, and then also some of our basic advertising in print media and online. Facilities and equipment assumptions. We will have one office, as stated. It will be in Fremont. It will be about 2,000 square feet. We think we can get that for about $12 a square foot a year, which comes out to about a rent expense of around $2,000 a month. In addition, we're going to pay for a refrigerator to store finished goods as we receive them back and store them before we sell them to our customers. We'll also have some various office equipment in our van, which we will use for deliveries and ad hoc tasks. We will depreciate all our equipment over a 5-year period using straight line depreciation. Our utility assumptions are for our office, and we know that we haven't had to pay for gas insurance on our truck, warehouse electricity, office electricity, and gas and water. Very basic costs, but needed to keep our facility up and running. Profitability. Our cash budget for 4 quarters, we are showing our cash collections driven by revenue and also our cash disbursements. We are making the assumption that we should have a $25,000 minimum cash balance in order to cover short-term period costs in the event that we are not very solvent. And as you can see here, in the beginning, we're definitely going to be spending more than we're taking in. However, by Q4, we expect to have some favorable cash inflows. One of the main items to note is that within the first year, we'll have to be borrowing about $400,000 to cover expenses and also maintain that minimum cash balance. And we expect that we can secure loans at about a 10% interest rate, 1 year payable at the end of the year. Our contribution margin, per unit contribution margin is $2.83, breaking in sales of about 112,000 units. As you can see here, our break-even units are higher than our sales in the first year, meaning that we have a negative margin of safety of $440,000 in the first year, which is expected. We do not anticipate to make a profit in the first year. However, using some conservative growth assumptions going into year 2, we do expect to be profitable with a margin of safety of about $415K. At this time, our exit strategies, our next steps, we're looking at investments. As I said before, we are planning on having to borrow around $400,000 within the first year. So we're seeking a $400K investment in lieu of borrowing in year 1, and in exchange for that, we'll offer a 20% stake in the company. That 20% stake would bring our total equity that's been spoken for up to 70%. We will reserve the remaining 30% for future decisions so as not to dilute the company too early. Our exit strategy, or plan B strategy, is as sales grow and we become more well known, that we could potentially be acquired by a large food or beverage company that looks at our idea and sees it like we do as a really cool, fun, and eventually profitable way to get their products into the marketplace. We probably anticipate this would be a local winery or a brewery that would want to just take advantage of the brand image and supply chain that we will have established at that time. That is it. Thank you very much. Go Buzzables.